Hey there, welcome to Pushing 40-Bit and to this very special episode of our podcast. As you can see, we are not physically present, but virtually present, and that is because I am in quarantine. Not literally, but I have the flu, and so you're going to hear me coughing as well, and I'll try not to make any super gross noises. But we figured since we're talking about Black Mesa, this is the best time that we could just play a multiplayer mod of the original Half-Life, which is called Sven's Co-op. So we've all chosen these lovely character models, and I'm going to be playing in third person just so that you can see the three of us. So Clipper there is this police officer, and Boris here, that's Frosty, and I am the mad scientist, Cynic. Yes, we're all invisible right now. We're because again, this isn't so much about playing through the Half-Life campaign, so we're all going to be cheating and playing this. So listen to the podcast, but as you get bored, enjoy this. So Black Mesa was the game of the month for Pushing 40-Bit, and Black Mesa released in 2012. It wasn't finished though; it ended before we got to the Zen chapters, and only recently in 2019 did they finally enable the Zen chapters, and so they released it. It's big and it's a massive change, and so we decided that we wanted to play it, and so that's why it's the game of the month.
And let's just say it was a lot better before that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Kidding. I don't want anyone to blame me here.
Should we maybe talk about our history with Half-Life 1?
Sure.
Oh, sure.
Before, because I knew of it and knew it was super popular, and especially Clipper and all the high school friends. I feel like you guys praised it a lot.
Yeah.
And I tried it a few times and could never get through it. I would always just either give up or just think it was too hard or even too scary. I do not like head crabs jumping at me.
It is a surprisingly scary game.
and such. So I tried it a bunch and just never did. And it was probably after Half-Life 2 Episode 2 that I actually went back and played all of Half-Life 1. And I think that's the only time that I've ever actually played all the way through.
So you played Half-Life 2 before Half-Life 1?
The whole thing, yeah. I probably, I think Lambda Complex is, I had only ever played it once before. So I would always quit somewhere around there.
That's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So for me, Half-Life was the first big game I ever got to play. The first gory game I ever got to play.
Unless you're in Germany and then you killed robots.
That's right. Oh, censorship.
But here's the question of the day. Could your PC actually run Half-Life?
Yes, but it wasn't perfect by any means. So it wasn't until I replayed Half-Life as an adult that I realized that Zen wasn't almost completely pitch black. And it was because every time I played Half-Life, Zen was basically, I had to navigate by touch because I didn't have an official graphics card. It was just onboard graphics, right? And this is old 1999 onboard graphics. So yeah, it wasn't great, but it works. Sorry, Frost. I think we've left you in the dust, but it'll load once we get to the next. Okay.
Yeah, you actually just shoved me down the elevator shaft.
Near death.
Hold on. Coming back. All right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so this game took advantage of 3D rendering if you had a graphics card. So for me, it did, yeah. Great. OpenGL mode was fantastic for us non-plebs that could afford a graphics card.
Monster 2s.
Yeah, exactly.
Though I will say, I just recently scavenged my parents' old Pentium 2, and it still has an install from Half-Life that I did in either 99 or 2000, and it still runs great. So again, the software rendering on Half-Life was pretty decent. Wasn't perfect by any means, but it was good enough, I felt. Yeah, enough that I enjoyed it. I loved this game.
And I played through Half-Life at least twice or 3 times in high school just because I love the scary aspect of it. I used to make the joke that I'd gone through 2 or 3 Microsoft IntelliMouse because I'd play it late at night and a head crab would jump out at me. I'd toss my mouse across. And of course, it was on the tether because wireless mice wasn't a thing. So it swung around in a nice arc and smashed against my wall. So.
Yeah.
But I remember you infamously hating Zen.
Yes, I absolutely hated Zen. And the reason why, and we'll talk about Half-Life Original Zen, is you had this beautiful game where, what's really, let's talk about Half-Life story and kind of get into that, is the game itself, right here, we're going to start the Resonance Cascade. The whole point of the game is to escape the complex, get to the surface.
Though these two right here in Black Mesa are different dudes. Just saying.
But
So
the
it's
game,
yeah.
the whole point of the game changes at least 3 times during the game, like what your goal is.
Mm-hmm.
And then Zen is like a fourth change. And for me, I was just like, ugh, can we just stick to a theme? And so I hated how it was thematically different, the gameplay was different, and it looked so out of place. That's why I hated it.
Gotcha. Oh, sorry. If you get too close to the edge, our God mode bodies will just stop the elevator and it'll go back.
Everyone cuddle.
I'm dying.
That's right.
So yeah.
So I mean,
Zen.
it does change, but it changes logically, right? I mean, it's like, so you're trying to escape. You finally get up towards the surface, and the scientists are like, this is never going to go away. And it turns out that the military maybe even has a point in the fact that they're trying to kill us because the Nihilanth is going to come and they're going to take over our entire world, and so we need to go kill the dang thing, right? And that actually comes to fruition in Half-Life 2 with a different group, the Combine, that come in and do take over Earth, right? In 7 hours, no less.
Yeah.
And so I think it makes sense that the strategy does change because it goes from, just get out of there and run for yourself to now you're the unwilling hero, which is, a common theme that you see in movies and video games.
I have a question, though, about all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Does Gordon have any military or combat training?
No.
I've always been curious about that, because he seems to pick that up very easily and very proficiently.
It is a little weird.
One thing I always enjoyed about that was how whenever he picks up a new gun, if you'll notice, he examines it and tests all the functions.
Yeah.
So it's almost like he's marveling for the first time ever seeing a Glock. He's like, ooh, Glock 17, very nice.
Well, I wonder, from a design standpoint, why they chose to make him a scientist and not make him like a security guard or something that, there's tons of other people he could have been in Black Mesa and still had the same story.
Because Bluehost. No, not Bluehost. Blue Coat. No, those are
Blue Shift.
Blue Shift.
There you go. No tech company on that one. Yeah, Blue Shift. I don't have that installed right now, so we can't play that mod of Sven's co-op. But yeah, I mean that's definitely, it maybe makes more sense from a plot perspective, right? Like Blue Shift is a much more standard plot, right? You're just some security guard, you're trying to get out. Yeah. As far as the scientist part goes, I mean maybe it's just that since you're going to end up destroying the Nihilanth at the end, you're going to be taking out an alien species. You have to be a more knowledgeable fellow, so that it's a weightier decision. I don't know.
And one thing they allude to is there's a class system at Black Mesa Research.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, you're on the science team. You're smarter than everyone else.
Well, but then also you only have level 3 clearance, and so there's other stuff going on in the other parts of the facility that you don't know about at all. And
yeah, and we're just the pleb that has to risk our fertile balls by shoving this into that beam, right? That's all we do. We're not the ones deciding that it's safe to run things at 105% capacity.
Yeah.
Side effect, that's the first time we've ever used the term fertile balls in the podcast.
Can we never again?
I don't know. The Gonarch's coming up at the end, so we might have to. But
please tell me we're not going to play all the way to the Gonarch.
Well, we can warp in Sven's co-op, so we could skip to the end if you want to. But
I remember when I played this for the first time, and this was all 3D rendered. It looked so amazing. I was just blown away on how good it looked.
I wanted to ask that too. I don't remember there being a game with this much, just the environment, the interaction with the environment. Even just the tram ride at the beginning of the game. Yeah. That seemed so novel and...
That's true.
I don't know, unlike anything else you'd ever played before.
And really one of the first games I saw that much exposition at the start of a game, right?
Oh, yeah.
You see a lot of games that have a very slight intro to it, or maybe some commands, or not commands, but some tutorials. But this was hey, just ride this tram for a little bit, and we're going to show off some of the neat stuff in this facility.
Yeah, or they easily could have just done a text crawl and start you after the cascade, and you're fighting aliens, and you don't really know why. But yeah, it's fun to see all of that.
Kudos to the Crowbar Collective when they redid Black Mesa. That tram scene is probably extended at least by double.
It did feel longer. When I replayed this first one today, I was like, oh, I guess it's not as long as I told Frosty it was. And I think it's because it was longer in Black Mesa. So just FYI, I switched to first-person mode just because the camera was glitching out too much. In third-person mode, it would go inside of my body too much. It was weird. So
I'm glad we're watching this because I was trying to remember when I was playing Black Mesa how close to the original it was.
It definitely is fairly close up to this point. There aren't a whole lot of changes. As we get
Yeah.
further along in the story, there's more and more changes, and they start really gradually, right? Like you'll see rooms where it's like, oh, this room is just like 50% bigger, right? And it has the same sorts of artifacts, but just slightly better, right? And so I do like that about Black Mesa, that they stayed so true to the source material that I have a hard time distinguishing the two, right? I'm like, wait, which one was that, right?
And they did a fantastic job of not only like updated, like obviously they upgraded all the textures and all the graphics for more of a modern PC on the Source engine, but like their reimagining of the rooms, like you mentioned, making them 50% bigger.
Yeah.
That first lobby scene, it's got a big, nice, futuristic like display.
Yeah, that's
on it,
true. Yeah.
which was super cool. I'm like, hey, I'm glad they like. I love games not games, any media that they'll stay true to the source material, yet enhance it visually and make it more appealing.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, they did remain very faithful, and brought enough of their own to it. Especially Zen is, completely different.
Oh yeah.
But even up until that point, the facility does seem or feel like the same.
You guys go first.
There's enough new.
And for once, Black Mesa, like again, it was a product of the times. Half-Life was as good as it could be at the time, right? But now Black Mesa feels like a truly dark, cutting-edge science facility that is up to some crap that nobody knew about.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot more story added into it. It felt like.
And I didn't feel the first time I played Half-Life, like the first time I played Half-Life, I really felt like we caused this resonance cascade by I just shoved a shopping cart into a beam, but other people were doing other things. I didn't quite understand it. But in Black Mesa, I felt like they really fleshed out the story of this facility was really in the dark arts of science.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I felt like I never understood Half-Life until this most recent playthrough. Like,
Like there's so many more scientists that talk with you and have conversations, not just in the facility, but along the entire game.
Yeah.
You get a lot more story. Since Gordon says nothing, you don't hear his reaction or his comments to it.
well, and I always thought, I was like, why are there all these things? Did we cause all of it, right? Like, I figured it was... I was just a little confused. Just so you know, you guys, Clipper, you're not invincible. But I was never really sure what we caused versus what was already happening with the other scientists. And I felt like there was a little bit of a clearer delineation, right? They talked about the fact that, you know more than any one man in the facility should know. And that, we've been pulling stuff from Zen for a long time. It's just that we got too cocky, and that's why the resonance cascade happened, right? Whereas the whole time I thought that, as a kid, I always thought that the resonance cascade was the first time they'd ever encountered anything from Zen. And so I was really confused as to why there were creatures from Zen like all over, and that they seemed to be familiar with what they were and how to stay away from them. Like, I was just always very confused about that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Black Mesa definitely makes that clear, especially when you get to, questionable ethics, and you see all the test chambers, and like they have like what would you say? They have facilities for like capturing aliens and studying them and all that kind of stuff.
And the crazy like automatic surgery bot
Was so much better in Black Mesa. Yeah. Dude, I
is
replayed
that in the original?
It is, but it's basically two like horizontal blades that spin around, and you just have to avoid those two horizontal blades. That's it.
Oh, really?
Right? Whereas in Black Mesa, it's like this crazy surgical bot that makes more sense. Like, the first one, you don't really understand like why it's there. You're like, why is there this thing that just spins around? And now it's like, oh no, clearly this bot is doing surgery.
An autopsy.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is something that's new in Black Mesa and not in Half-Life. There's no head crab in the microwave.
With the head crab setting on all the microwaves.
Right. Every microwave needs a head crab setting.
Which I've got a vinyl cutter and a microwave. I think I'm going to do this weekend.
Change your popcorn button.
That's great. Now, there is one spot up here where I felt like this did a better job than Black Mesa. So right around the corner here, you see this explosion that opens up this vent. And in Black Mesa, I couldn't remember where to go, and it's because you have to come over here and you have to crowbar this vent to get through. And I was like, wait, where do I go? And I was just confused. Or no, you don't even have the crowbar yet, I don't think, in Black Mesa. They held it from you longer. So maybe it was just that I had to wait and get close to it, and then it exploded or something. I don't remember, but it was confusing.
Huh.
There's an office in that main room. There's like a big office thing.
Oh, yeah?
That I kept getting trapped with.
Yeah, there definitely were just enough map changes that it was sometimes hard to keep things straight. But again, I did welcome it.
The big, I I don't know, like the big moments are always like you're like, oh yeah, I remember this, even though it might look completely different. It was still familiar enough.
Yeah, for
absolutely.
sure.
Yeah, it wasn't too confusing. Other than I got really stuck in the Lambda complex.
And what part?
The part where you have to fill the tanks, because the map made it seem like there was 4 tanks to fill, and there's actually only 2, and so I kept looking around forever.
And I just remembered that one from the first game, and so that was easy enough for me. But it probably was more confusing in Black Mesa, and it was just my memory of the original that made it okay.
Well, and I just made it more complicated than it was, like it was far easier than I thought it was going to be, but I kept looking around for things that I was supposed to be doing instead of just pressing ahead because I had already done it.
Gotcha. All right, this part, I don't know if you remember. I don't remember this part in Black Mesa. Maybe it was there, but where you have to go down here and flood these chambers?
I do, because I tried to pile stuff on top of each other to get up to the ladder, and instead it doesn't let you. You actually have to flood it.
Gotcha.
But one thing they did change is the handle's not on it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And there's the there's the ceiling guys you have to avoid too.
Yep. So that was a little change they made.
Don't we have to break that? No? I guess we just go through here, huh? Okay. Sorry, it's been a little while since I played this. I've recently played Sven's co-op all the way through with my son, but there were the parts that he did, and so I don't remember all of it for sure. But it has been fun to go back and to be able to evaluate the differences between this and Black Mesa. Which is, again, just I can't give enough praise to the Black Mesa devs for making it that hard for me to tell which things were new and which things weren't new, right? Now, I did play Black Mesa back in, 2012, I think. It was either 2012 when they released it or maybe 2013 just after they released it.
Yeah.
And so my memory is a little bit conflated already from Half-Life the original and Half-Life Black Mesa. But that's great. I mean, that just shows that it goes in so seamlessly that I can't even keep it straight in my head. Which is fantastic. Did Clipper jump off?
Yep, I did. I thought since I have God mode, I wouldn't die.
Oh, no.
I forgot there's a grinder.
Don't go in the grinder. Don't go in the grinder, because Revive Me doesn't work in the grinder.
I'm already in the grinder, so...
Okay, well, we'll just have to leave you.
What are these floating things?
That's a save point. I probably should have had you not get that, but that's fine. Because that way he would have respawned right there had he turned off God mode and died. But that's fine. There is a ladder over there, Clipper. Do you see that one on that far side?
I can't get to it. I'm stuck. The grinder chews me up too much. I can't get over to it.
I might be able to pull you with this guy.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
I'm free. I'm free.
Yay!
Gravity gun.
Well, but this kind of is like a gravity gun. Have you not used this guy?
Oh no.
He's super fun. You can pull things to him, and you can also rappel off the ceiling. There's a lot of fun things you can do there.
Nice. The hound eyes sound much better in the original.
Really? I mean, they definitely sound different. I'm not sure. So what are you saying is better about it?
Oh, just everything. The new ones, they don't make that like charging up noise.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with Frost on this one. I love the sound of the hound eyes in the first one because they did that like charging up and the brah, brah. I can't do it. I just butchered it.
Yeah.
It was a valiant effort.
Thank you. But this one they just kind of yipped a little bit, which wasn't quite as good.
Oh yeah, that is true. I do remember that. Yeah, it is interesting because as much as like audio or visual design is always better in an HD remake, we kind of nailed sound design early on. Like you go back to these 1990s games, and their sound design holds up pretty good, whereas their visual design usually doesn't. But
sure, yeah. I mean, while we're on audio, the music of Black Mesa is amazing.
It is.
Such a good job.
If you saw, sorry, go through there, and there's a That's part of the reason I like the glue-on gun is I can point with it.
Good.
But there is so during our quiz, if you guys watched our quiz on Half-Life, the music in the background of that is the Black Mesa soundtrack, just because it was so excellent. I had to put it in the background there.
Yeah, I was really, really impressed with it throughout, but especially once you get to Zen, the songs on Zen are amazing.
So this part right here was the stuff of nightmares. I remember being so scared of this, and my son just hopped straight across it first try. He was like, "Oh, yeah, that's fine, right?"
Make the jump.
Oh yeah, we do run into each other, so watch out.
Sorry.
It's alright, I'm just gonna kill myself down here.
That's fine. We'll get to the next loading area here quickly. So
Oh, do you actually land because of God mode?
yes,
Nice.
you don't die. I mean, if you want, you could experiment with teleport, but we'll just hurry and we'll get to the next loading area. You don't have to worry about it.
Free roaming mode. I'll come find you.
Oh, nice.
It was funny when I played also the remake of Half-Life Source, where they did the same game. Valve did it, but just in the Source engine.
Right. Yeah.
And that puzzle had serious implications because all of a sudden those boxes swayed, which was awesome.
Oh yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
I actually, when I played through it, it must have been that version of it. So I maybe never actually beat the original Half-Life.
Well, and this one that we're playing right now isn't the original either, right? Like, you look at the character models, and they're too good.
Yeah.
So this is what I used to refer to as the high-def version of Half-Life. But Black Mesa came and fixed that, so I don't say that anymore. Because Black Mesa is now definitely the high-def version.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember the default flashlight button.
F.
Thank you.
www.
Yeah, we know our Half-Life buttons. I'm just going to leave that scientist. I don't care about him. But...
One thing that I want to ask if it was different or not, the one thing that felt super different to me was on a rail.
Yeah.
Felt far, far less confusing and way easier in Black
Yes.
Mesa.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Why was that, though? I don't know what made it feel that way.
I couldn't
think
remember
on
if
a
it was just
rail-
my memory of it or...
No, I actually looked this up a little bit. In On a Rail, there's a ton of little pillboxes that the military set up. So as you had to go along, you had to pause your cart, get off, kill the pillbox, and then drive past them again.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, I do
crazy.
remember that.
And that was not in Black Mesa.
But I
Oh,
remember
maybe,
too...
maybe one.
Well, weren't there like multiple tracks that you had to like shoot things to make it go different directions or something? Oh, that's a fan.
yeah. So I remember recently I played this with my son, and yeah, we had to you had to, while you're riding the train, you had to shoot some signs to make it go straight or left.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't clear like where you were supposed to go because there was like one spot where you thought you were just hitting a dead end, but it turned out that if you went up to like the very top, you hop off of the train, you go up like some stairs, and then you're able to find that there is like a crane lever sort of thing that you can move out of the way, and then the train can go past that spot.
Huh.
And
I
so
remember it being much more difficult, and I hated it much more in the original.
Yeah, that was my memory of it, but
Because when I finished it, when I was playing Black Mesa, I was like, oh, that wasn't bad at all.
well, good of them for making it better.
Well, I'm sure the guys sat down and went, oh my gosh, what are the things we hate about this game? And they did.
yeah. And there are definitely, I mean, as much as Half-Life was one of my all-time favorite games growing up, there are definitely some clunky spots, and Clipper is demonstrating one beautifully right now. Getting on ladders is the worst in this game, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's just terrible. And then another one that was terrible was the double jump. Now, I shouldn't say terrible, but like, to jump farther in this game, you have to tap control and then hurry and tap jump, right?
Yeah.
Whereas in Black Mesa, they just made it a double jump. So you just hit jump and then you hit jump again. And it is so much easier. It is so much better.
Once you get the flying thing, whatever it's called.
Yeah, the long jump modification or module or whatever.
Fun fact, right here, I had about 7 health. And as I come around this corner, I died every time. So yes, Black Mesa, I thought, I played Half-Life a ton of times in my life. Like, I played it a bunch. I'm going to play on a hard.
Yeah.
It was relentless and just punishing.
I'm sure.
Every mistake was punished.
If I had had more time this month, I think I would have played it on hard, because that's something I've always wanted to do, and I've just never made time to actually do it. But it also sounds like it was brutal, which is never fun.
It was relentless.
Yeah, I played on normal, and I was surprised at how much health there was. Like, I was never too worried when I would get hurt or anything, because I just knew there was health around.
Yeah.
So I kind of flew through the game, it felt like, pretty quickly, because
I'm not sure what this is. I'm not sure I've been here before.
I don't know.
All right, interesting. Sorry, sidetrack. I thought I knew Half-Life, but there's parts of it that just kind of are vague and out of my memory. Like this part, I don't remember exactly where to go. because it feels a little labyrinthian, right? Like there's just twists and turns everywhere. And that's one of the things that was nice about Black Mesa is that they did a really good job just having slightly different artifacts all over. So like you'd look through a window, like, and then you could actually see the difference. Wait, now you got to tell them to follow us.
Oh.
I have no idea where I am or where you guys are.
Sorry, we jumped down. You're right here. There you go.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where we're going though. So
Clipper's having a great time.
Yeah, I thought I was going the wrong way.
Clipper's just sabotaging the scientists. Now, I never killed any of the civilians in Black Mesa. Can you?
Yes, you can, and it says it basically has a message at the prop that says unacceptable civilian losses.
Oh, really?
It just makes you load from the last point. Yep.
Interesting. Sorry, I'm just going to go down the stairs because I'm lost.
That. Cool.
That's crazy. Yeah, I never did that.
Over here.
Sorry, you know where it is?
Yeah, it's over here.
Did he go
Follow
through
the
somewhere?
snarks.
Where is over here?
Yeah, we don't know where the snarks are, man.
Upstairs somewhere?
Probably.
Where we left you?
Yeah, we said we were going to play Half-Life while we did this during my quarantine because since we all know it so well, we would just, fly through it. And then I proved that I can't even remember where I'm going.
Well, this is 90s level design. That was
Frosty found me.
Yeah.
Hey, there's Cynic. All right.
I love that they added, because like Half-Life 2 kind of retconned that the Vortigaunts were slaves in this one.
Yeah.
And I love that they added that to the story of Black
Yeah.
Mesa.
And it felt so normal and natural, and I was like, oh man, it just
you
fits
fight
in
them,
seamlessly.
all through the facility, but then when you get to Zen, they're actually enslaved and kind of help you out a bit. And,
Yeah.
But then they can still, be, I don't know, overridden or mind controlled by the floaty guys, whatever they're called.
Yeah. I don't really know what those are called because when I looked them up, they were just saying that they were like part of the Nihilith species, and I'm like, that's not legit. Like they're separate for sure.
Look like him, I guess. Just
Well, but the
versions.
big Nihilith, the big difference with him is that his third arm that's on there is stitched on. So if you look close to him, even in these old version, that extra arm is stitched on there, which shows that he's not actually one of the same species, right? Whereas the Flyers, they all have that third arm natively, and the Vortigaunts have that third arm natively.
Huh.
And so clearly it's from somewhere else, but like we don't really know where.
Yeah.
I got stuck here for the better part of an hour.
Oh yeah. This one's easier in Black Mesa than it is here, actually, though.
See, I disagree. I thought it was easier in this one than Black Mesa.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh man! So in Black Mesa, like you can see where it is, and you can see the holes in the wall. Well, whereas here, like I'm going to turn this on, and this is just going to bounce back and forth like a dope, right? Like that's all it's going to do, and then you just have to time it to walk across there.
Oh yeah, and the other one you had to turn find the wheel first, and then
Find
go
the wheel.
attach it, and then.
Yeah, and then you have to
thing is, I
specifically
didn't-
set it up to where it goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't find the wheel. I just walked
Oh.
around like an idiot.
See, I found the wheel almost instantly. I don't know why. It just like happened upon it, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, it definitely is different. So if you've done the puzzles in Half-Life, you're still going to have to think through the puzzles in Black Mesa because they're not all identical.
And it's not just because you haven't played the game in 20 years.
Might have a little something to do with it, but it's not just
Whoa.
that. That's for sure.
There
Yeah,
was suddenly
so-
a head crab behind me.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
And
and
this
the
game you'll get
flashlight and the lighting effects in Black Mesa so much better.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Especially
like a
with
beam of
multiplayer.
light.
Yeah. A lot of times you'll see like a character light up and then none of the walls around him will light up. And you're like, no, I'm trying to look at the walls right now. But, that's just the way it goes. I don't have a big problem with that, right? Like when it comes to the lighting being like the next big revolution of graphics cards and stuff, I go, okay, I guess, right? Like it's fine. Though I did think that climbing around all these vents in Black Mesa was infinitely better. And I think part of it's that they made it a little bit easier. Like your jump, I think, is just a couple inches higher.
It
Well,
felt a
there's
lot easier, a lot more forgiving.
There's a thing in the options that is on by default to automatically crouch jump.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
But even just the length of your jump, right? So like when we finally get up to the tentacles here ahead, like there's a spot where you have to jump over it, and it's basically maximum possible jump in this mode. But in the other one, in Black Mesa, like it just felt like a normal jump. It wasn't even that hard to jump over it.
Yeah.
Though I do feel like I I saw G-Man in this one more than I did in Black Mesa, or maybe not. Maybe I'm just remembering wrong. But like this up here in the glass, G-Man showed up there before that zombie showed up, right?
Yeah.
And he's just kind of everywhere. Like if you look for him, you'll see him over and over. So this is a perfect example of the jump that I'm talking about. So you guys go ahead and try that jump.
To the ladder, is that where we're going to go?
It is so much easier.
I hit it and then it did not let me.
It is so much easier in Black Mesa than it is in this one.
My favorite scientist that falls.
Oh, I died. Okay, Clip, you're gonna have to make it to the next area because you're the only one that made it.
Yeah, but I love just watching the scientist dangle.
Oh yeah, we're watching him from below. He's gonna land like on us if he falls down here. I mean, I could try to teleport, but since I'm...
There he goes.
Oh yeah, he fell right through there.
He went through the ground.
Mm-hmm. That's definitely the first time I've watched him fall from this angle. That's crazy.
For sure, yeah. No, Clip falls off the same ladder.
Well, I guess if Clip stays alive, I can kill myself and then... Yeah, let's do that because that'll be less boring for our viewers while I talk. So I will follow him in observer mode. Oh, good. He found the next area. Perfect. Thank you.
Good timing.
That is the nice thing about Sven's co-op is you don't have to worry about being, stranded for too long if you've got a buddy that knows how to play the game. And I highly recommend this for anybody that loves the Half-Life franchise. If you've never played it with a friend, it makes the game just so much better. And this is free on Steam.
So, when we played this game, when you played it with Black Mesa, so the elevator that kind of goes down at an angle that I fell into the grinder, I thought that was like hours and hours and hours into the game. But it's at the start, and I didn't draw that conclusion, or what?
Maybe. I mean, we're also booking through this pretty fast, just because we're on God mode, but, But yes, it is earlier than you think. And I don't know what that is, if it's just that... I think for me, it was that I was a perfectionist. I was so worried about not having ammunition. Just run it through the lasers. I was so worried about not having ammunition that I would replay sections over and over if I got even slightly hurt or lost a bullet that I didn't mean to lose.
Oh, yeah, because that wasn't very clean. I can do that a little bit cleaner.
I started doing that with this at the beginning, and then I was like, I don't need to. There's
tanked
plenty of ammo.
There's
been plenty of health.
In Black Mesa, yeah. Didn't have to worry about it.
Plus, so can I bring up my complaint?
Yes, please do.
Which I think this is in the original game too, so this is not Black Mesa's fault, but I don't find the Marines fun to fight.
Really?
I like fighting the aliens, especially like the puzzles and stuff in Black Mesa, but I think the game for me is way more fun when it's just you and your crowbar and a pistol. And
well, that's bad timing because we've just gotten to the Marines.
Exactly. But,
I guess I liked the difference, right? Like I like the change of pace. I like that you have to treat them differently. You can't just we need to hurry and get in here or he's going to leave us behind.
I'm not pushing that button.
Okay. Just if you get trapped on the other side of this, you're stuck for good.
I'm a friendly, happy man.
Yeah, it's not horrible. Like they're still okay, but I think my patience wears thin when you just start fighting them again and again and again.
That's true. They're very plentiful
and such. I don't know. They have more interesting attacks and are like you can dodge them and you can kind of do anything. And the Marines just shoot at you from all the way across the map. And
it is kind of irritating.
And that's maybe my one and only complaint.
Is that a really damage?
No, that's what I wondered before. But
I have a couple complaints. So I feel like one of the big flaws in Black Mesa is that they made Zen a little too beautiful, right? So Zen is a border world where basically the Nihilith species had to run because they were being pursued by the Combine, right? So the Combine eventually catch up and they also take over Earth, right? But the Nihilith species had to deal with that. Oh, I think this is not the right way to go. I think this is like a secret area, but go ahead, Clip. I can't remember for sure.
I'm just programmed to go to this area. Sorry.
And so it was just that, they were able to survive in the border world, but they don't want to stay there, which is why they want to invade another planet like Earth. But that doesn't work for, the New Zen, right? It was this luscious place that had life. It had, water. It had all sorts of things. So that was a complaint I had. I felt like it was just a little unbelievable on that front.
I can see that if you're know that part of the story, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's a nitpicky thing, right? I also felt like the bouncing around from like plant to plant in Zen to like open up a bunch of leaves. I didn't really understand why we were doing that. Do you remember that part where you had to like bounce around? And,
Yeah, you
like,
have.
what
There's
were we
all
doing?
the like corrupted type plants, and you have to
Shoot them.
whack the red part so that the leaves open and such.
Yeah, like I didn't really understand what that part was. Sorry, I'm a
There
little
were a
bit
few
lost
parts
on
like that that seem kind of like, well, because Gordon isn't talking and there's no scientists here. Like, how do I know where to go, or how, like, how do I know what my
There's a
actual
natural level progression.
goal is? Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. That makes sense.
And for me, again, I'm going to go back to nitpicky. I thought they did an amazing job with Zen. It was beautiful. It was like, oh, okay, this actually feels good now. It just feels like too disjointed of a game to me still.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, you found the right place.
I found it. Yeah, for sure now, like, Black Mesa feels very, very different.
It just doesn't look the same. It doesn't feel the same. It's like, wow, I went from playing, a survival horror shooter game to I'm playing Planetary Explorer, like No Man's Sky suddenly. And,
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people love puzzle elements. I know you two guys are huge into puzzle elements, but I felt like they just tried to shove too many into Zen.
See, I preferred the puzzles quite a bit, and some of the combat went on for way too long.
Really? See,
Zen itself, like if you played the game in one, not in one sitting, but in one, at one time playing start to finish, Zen maybe goes on a little too long.
Gotcha.
But I think if you had played, Black Mesa before Zen back in the day, and then were excited to see Zen, like, you would be happy with the amount of content that is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's hard to complain about that when I know people are going to be happy with how much is in Zen.
Yeah, I definitely was happy about the quantity that Zen was. I just kept being shocked. I'm like, how is the game like this big and this long, right? Like,
yeah,
it was very impressive to me.
I
But
didn't expect that at all. I thought it was going to match the original game more and be fairly quick.
For sure. That's more what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Sorry, guys. Again, I think I'd know how to play this game after all these years, but
It was really funny how when we were first talking about doing this idea for the podcast, actually playing the game co-op, we'd be like, I don't know, we might be too distracted or whatever. I swear my brain's just on autopilot mode. Like, it's like, do.
I keep going back and forth between distraction and
sure.
okay, what am I doing in the game? I'm lost.
Yeah.
I have to kill this head crab.
I do appreciate a change of pace, again, which is partly why I liked Zen, right, is that it did change the pace. And so this is a change of pace for our viewers. It's a totally different podcast, even though it's
there we go.
me not spreading disease. But
Hey, for our 3 people that watch our podcast, I think they're going to enjoy it.
Great.
my cynic
Hi, Mom.
transmitted
How you doing?
diseases. Unfortunately, this older game...
The audio design of the grunts. Go! Red team, go! That's what
yeah?
you say a million times.
Black
Is that not
Mesa.
open?
No, in this one.
Where did we go? I don't.
I think we might have missed a spot. I don't know.
In Black Mesa, there was definitely more, like, conversation that you could listen in from the grunts.
That's true.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Which is a welcome addition.
Yeah. And the scientists
It
as
reminded
well.
me- Yeah, and it reminded me of a game that me and Frost hold dear to our hearts called No One Lives Forever.
Oh yes. The
there was-
banter. in
Yeah,
that
the banter
game is
of the
so
NPCs.
funny.
And I thought they kind of captured a little bit of this in a. It's kind of funny. It's like it's almost like a group lovingly added content to something that I already loved. And so like, hey, I know you love this. We're gonna be very careful, and we're gonna add some lovely content for you. That's what it feels like to me.
Sure.
Where did you guys go?
I don't know. I'm just exploring vents because I don't know where to go.
Oh.
If one of us finds a level change, then we'll know we're in the right spot, right?
Seems like it would have to be here, but
Performance-wise, and as how far the game ran, had a lot of crashes.
Really? And when did the crashes start? I'm curious.
The crashes were near the end. The first 8 hours were totally fine, but the crashes after that started.
Yeah,
never
I
crashed.
only had crashes in Zen. And most of them, almost all of them actually, were during the Nihilith battle.
that's
what's
a
a-
bad time for it.
Did we just get trapped, Clip?
Yep. I guess this is our life now.
Did we clip through the wall? Is that what happened?
No, the door opened. We walked through the door immediately.
We walked into a booby trap.
There's only one thing to do at this point. Turn off God mode, Rob. Or Cynic, sorry.
That's fine.
Turn it off. It's time.
There you go.
Snarks!
Except for there's no respawning this, which means Frosty now has to find the end.
I tried to turn on no clip and it's not doing anything.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. It's a little confusing.
The snarks aren't...
Well, they go for enemies first, and then eventually they decide... Oh, interesting. That's not what I expected at all. Oh, it's because there's no friendly fire on. So you can kill yourself with that, but you can't kill me with that. That's fine. So I'm just going to do this. Let's go. I'm going to do a teleport, like 500, 500, 0, because I can cheat with the best of them. Look at that. Let's try negative 500s. That looks like a real place.
Now I'm free roaming.
So, Frosty, did you figure out where to go? Because apparently I don't remember this as well as I think I do.
Unless it was right here. So that was the fan.
Through the fire door, yep.
So, Clipper, if you want to try, I teleported to negative 500, negative 500, 0.
I'm just in free roam flying around.
All right. Well, you can look for the ending then in free roam. Oh, see, I'm not going to be able to get to where you're at, Frosty, because I'm on the wrong side of the elevator. Yeah, I teleported to the wrong side. All right. Well, maybe I can bring it back. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That is the downside about Sven's Co-op, which is why I highly recommend playing it in cheat mode if you're going to do it just like I did. It's not hard to Google and see, but you just do SV cheats space 1 to enable it. The cheat modes seem to work best if you have 3 people or under. If you do more than 3 people, then you have to kind of do some shenanigans to get cheat mode to work.
But the shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did I find it? I may have found it.
Well, good. If you got there, that's great, because then we can warp out of here. Because I like teleported, but I teleported way back to the beginning because it was the only coordinates I could find that were legitimate.
Everything I keep finding is just like a little room with like some add-ons. It's just...
But this, it highlights one of the reasons why I love that they didn't just do an HD remake, right? Because if they had just made the textures better, the map design would still be a little bit lousy, right? Okay, but I remember this section was a lot better inside of Black Mesa because it guided you where to go. There were always, enemies kind of showing you, hey, you got to move this way or you're not going to get to the right place.
I noticed there was often like flickering lights or something by like ladders and things. Like there was like little details like that would just like point out like, hey, here's a hint.
So I love that they were true to the source material, but that they changed it to make it much more friendly to go. Oh yeah, see, I'm on the wrong side of the ladder. I finally got to this ladder, and I'm not going to be able to get out of here. All right, well, it's all on you, Frosty. You're our only hope.
I have no idea where I am. Or where I'm supposed to be.
When things go horribly off the rails, that's
can you just load the next map if you know it?
If I know the name of it, I could, but I don't know. So here we'll disconnect really quick. You'll have to disconnect to me again. I'm just going to start a new game, and I'm going to pick one of the maps at random because I don't know which one we were on, but we're going to go... Let's jump ahead to Chapter 10. That seems like a good chapter.
Nice.
Sure.
I did like how some of even the core elements of the game had been tastefully redone. For example, there's a part where you have to use a artillery barrage to shoot a wall in the original Half-Life. However, in Black Mesa, you shoot a tower that knocks over the wall.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no. So I replayed that with my son recently, and it was the same. You actually had to knock over the tower.
It's some nice audio glitches, so we didn't hear you there, Cynic.
Oh, I was just saying that I played that with my son recently in Sven's Co-op, and we had to bomb the tower and knock over the tower.
Really? I could have sworn you just shot the wall.
I thought you were right, too, but we had to.
So the moral of the story is I don't know what I'm talking about.
The moral is that this is an old game, and our memories are not what they used to be. So I launched a new one, Clipper. Were you able to get in?
I'm just trying to get there.
No worries.
I was going to say, if we're going to be on a rail, that's going to be hilarious.
I think
we're past
this is just after on a rail.
Yeah.
There's still a little bit of trains.
This different train.
So Clipper, once you get in, just go straight down the ladder.
Straight down the ladder. Sounds like a crappy pop song.
Great. The hardest part of Black Mesa for me was the helicopter fight.
Really?
I died so many times to the helicopter. The first time you fight it. The second time was much
Just
easier.
on the cliffs, you mean?
On the cliffs was much easier. When you fight it
At
at the dam.
Go ahead, guys.
Yeah, fighting it at the dam, I died so many times. Well,
At the dam. I'm trying to remember.
So there, you get the Gauss cannon, or the not Gauss.
Yes.
You get the zip
Tau
gun.
cannon?
It's
Yeah.
called the zip gun for everyone.
Okay.
Well, that's what the whenever we played deathmatch, we always called it the zip gun.
Sure.
Oh,
Anyway.
yeah, it's the Tau cannon. Yeah, I know it.
It's the zip
Okay.
gun, but anyway.
Oh, now I'm stuck in something. Okay.
When you get that, you have to fight a helicopter, and that was punishingly difficult. It really was.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember the part you're talking about. Just outside of the Lambda complex when you get over in that direction.
Yeah, so it's before the cliffs, because the cliffs is where you fight the helicopter for the second time.
Gotcha. I remember. It took me a while, but I remember. Whoops. I can't jump, apparently.
And this puzzle right here that we're looking at now was so much more difficult in Black Mesa.
I don't know
What?
which way
What are you
we're going.
talking about? Hopping
In
on
barrels.
barrels versus just pulling some barrels out and doing the physics puzzle from Half-Life 2?
I liked the physics puzzle.
It was much more difficult because I put 3 barrels under and the bridge didn't move at all, so I figured that wasn't the right solution.
Oh, gotcha.
It didn't give me
Yeah.
any visual feedback that yes, you're doing it.
Yeah, you
It
have
was
to
a
put
little bit
the
weird
exact
that
amount
way.
before it moves any amount.
Yeah.
Exactly, and I was like, not a big fan of that.
Yeah, just hop into the water, Frost.
Oh, into the water.
But on this side, yeah. This is where my son and I had a glitch where there were Marines in the water, fully functional, and shooting us. It was interesting.
And also having the updated graphics was awesome, except for I had the water reflection turned on, and you can't see underwater.
Yeah.
Well, but you can't see underwater in this, right? Like when the ichthyosaur is under the water, you can sometimes see part of him sticking out, but that's it, right? Like,
Yeah, I do remember that.
so being able to see through clear water was gorgeous. And the ichthyosaur, you could kill him with the bee gun in the new one.
You are so cheap. I bet you used the bee gun the entire game.
Down here, Frost, come back.
Well, so here's my confession of how I played this game wrong. I didn't know that the bee gun ammo regenerated.
Oh.
Oh,
I didn't remember that, and
Frosty,
so I saw that it only had
I
8
think
ammo.
you ran away, but we got to come back.
Why?
'Cause is that really the real way, or maybe I'm going a secret way?
Yeah, we're-
okay.
Yeah, because you have to fight the ichthyosaur.
All right.
Yeah,
oh,
so
I hit my gun. Help! Help!
Good thing I was here.
Thank you.
Sorry, so you didn't realize the bee gun regenerated? You thought you only had 8 bullets?
I thought I only had 80 bullets, and I never saw like any of those guns or anything that you could pick up. And so I kept thinking like, oh, I guess there's just not very much ammo for this, and I never like tried to shoot it.
Gotcha.
For some
And it
reason, I
is-
think I remember it like not being very good in Half-Life 1, which I'm
Well,
sure not
so I
true.
mean, it was good in some ways. So it's a little bit different in Black Mesa. They went for faster regeneration, but less overall. So you have 100 bullets. So I'll pull it out right now. So I've got 100 bullets, and I could rapid fire them. I can shoot them soft, right? But once you're done with those 100 bullets, it takes forever for the gun to regenerate, right?
Okay.
And so that made it kind of crappy. We didn't get used that much. Whereas in Black Mesa, they went for just 8 bullets, and then you could, but they would regenerate quite quickly, right? But it also meant that the rapid fire mode in Black Mesa was kind of pointless. About the only reason to do it was just to kill physical things that you had to kill with a projectile, right? So like,
Yeah.
if you had to shoot a fire plant so that it would burn down some of those weird cobwebs that the Gonarch leaves around, right? Like, the only way to do that with that gun was to rapid fire.
Now, are you sure that's not a Sven's co-op thing? Because I remember the bee gun having like 12 or 8 ammo in original
Oh,
Half-Life.
it's entirely possible.
Because it did not have 100.
Oh, interesting.
I think that's a Sven's co-op thing.
That would make sense. You can make this jump, but it's just awful and hard. Oh, so yeah, I failed as well.
Oh, and then got scared by a
Whereas again,
fish.
in Black Mesa, all of these jumps are just so much easier, even before you get the long jump mod. I'm sure there's a cheat code to like enable the long jump all the time, but I don't know what it is. So we're just playing old school here.
Ah!
Sorry, it took me a long time.
Attacked by a fish.
Yeah, that fish is kind of a jerk. I'm not a big fan of him.
I've shot it a ton of times.
I find it's easiest to kill it with a crowbar in this one, just because it has basically so that it has the normal fish health times 3, and I think it also has normal fish speed times 3 because 3 of us are playing it.
Oh, okay.
And so they just make it extra hard. Okay, so I've opened this shortcut here. If you guys just want to come through this door.
What door?
So I'm gonna get to the glue-on gun so you can see me over here. Follow the glue-on source.
Oh, does it let you
And there's a
jump
door
over that?
down there that I opened. I opened one down here below.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wondered what that door was. Nice.
No worries. Figured that, speeds things along.
Sure.
So I'm trying to think of other Black Mesa things basically that draw original Half-Life player to play Black Mesa, besides the obvious love for this game.
Well, I
that's
think
a
if
good
you,
question.
like, for someone like me that loved Half-Life 2, but
Hop on my
never
head.
really got into the first one because it's outdated, like, Black Mesa is perfect for that.
You can just hop on my head, Boris.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, my stomach's growling. Sorry.
Thank you.
I mean, we can do this the normal way, but I figure that way you guys can actually move ahead while I turn on this and get crushed. But I mean, you can also cheat this one. You don't have to jump across all 3, right? So everybody, you got the chompers. This episode was poorly written, but
Well,
you only have to do the last one because you can crouch jump onto the last one, which makes it, much more palatable.
Oh, and also the flashlight in Black Mesa never runs out.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, that was nice too. At first I didn't realize that, so I kept saving it.
Well, I would find myself like being in well-lit areas, like, and then realizing, oh, I think my flashlight's been on like the past half an hour.
Yep, it definitely made me less power conscious.
Where do we go?
But it was good. I liked that a lot. He'll open the door eventually, and then we just go through. You just have to talk to him, and then he'll open this. And he's telling us to stick to the older parts of the Lambda complex. That's worked for him, right? Like, if I remember that guy. Oh, I thought I killed him.
It looked like he had. Guess not.
The cold room. I remember the cold room.
Yep. And in my mind, there was only one cold room as a kid, so I was shocked when I went back and realized, oh no, there's 2 different cold areas, right? Like,
Yeah.
It's funny, they use the mechanism of the old Marios where it's on ice, you can't stop. You slide. It's a hilarious mechanism.
and I hate ladders in this game so bad. That is my number one complaint. In Black Mesa, they made it a lot better. I actually was able to descend a ladder, whereas in this game, the number of times I've descended a ladder is like twice.
There was one ladder that you couldn't climb up. It was just like a visual thing.
Oh, yeah?
Well, it was pretty high up, and so I tried like stacking all these barrels up, and then went to go to
gotcha.
jump through it, and it just like I went through it like nothing was there, and I was like really disappointed. It's like, oh, you can't have a ladder in a game with ladders that isn't actually a ladder.
That's funny.
And assassinated. Oh, you don't see the assassin in this one?
So the assassin in this one, I think that they actually go invisible for short periods of time. I could be wrong, but it seemed like that's what was going on. Is that a lot of times they would just go invisible for like little bits, like they had cloaks. But it could just have been like a visual glitch that I had a problem with. I don't know.
Possible. I found them like pretty fun to fight in Black Mesa.
Oh no,
Like
they were miserable.
I liked fighting them.
Man, I had the hardest time even seeing them. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. They were so fast.
they're so fast. It's crazy.
And on hard mode, they pretty much one-shot you.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would believe it.
Are we getting back in the head?
I did not remember that this happened, that there was a point where they, take out your weapons and everything.
Wait.
Yeah.
Can we end that trope in games? My gosh, I hate it.
I don't mind it. I can palette it once in a game, but when it's like 4 different times, you're like, oh, and your weapons are gone. It makes me so mad.
Yeah.
It's like I worked hard for those weapons. I named those weapons. They're my children.
In Opposing Force, this is a scene where you see actually Gordon when you're playing the Half-Life Opposing Force in your front. You see him
okay.
getting straight off right here.
I never played those expansions or mods or whatever you want to call them.
They were expansions. They were paid expansions. You actually had to buy those.
Well, I always considered them sequels, I guess. I guess I never considered them an expansion, but yeah, I mean, guess that both terms apply.
Yeah.
Well, this is back when games actually, you bought a full game, like a 14, 15, 16-hour experience versus buying a 2-hour game and DLCing you to death.
Yeah.
What?
Well, and additionally, they even included enhancements for the original game, right? Like, it came with the better textures, and you could go back and play the original game with better textures because of the sequel, right? So it truly felt like a new game and a new sequel. And Blue Shift, like, the puzzles were completely different and unique. They weren't just the same recycled stuff, right? Like,
I do have to say, though, why would they replace a Glock with a Beretta? Just saying.
that was a little weird.
Or
But,
the SMG instead of the rifle?
Well, it's an MP5, and that makes sense that it takes the same ammunition the Glock took, but then it turns into an AR-15, which uses a completely different ammo, and I was like, pushing my nose up on my glasses saying, why even that's not accurate?
You would.
I would, it's true.
gun nerds. They're a different breed of nerd. This one's a lot easier on God mode, but because you have to like time it so that you don't fall into a dry thing and kill yourself. But now if you go slow and fall into the dry well, it doesn't matter.
Oh, all right. Hey, we're like sharing the ladder. This is kind of cute.
Cute.
It's the Sven co-op meet cute.
Hey guys.
Oh. What else did I want to say about the Black Mesa?
I mean, for me, it was just. I'm gonna say a word that's probably gonna get us demonetized for all I know. It was a nostalgia-gasm, right? Like,
Oh wow.
it was just about enjoying my childhood experience, but with less clunkiness, just more enjoyment overall because it was just so good, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yep, absolutely. Like a lot of times we go back and try to play games from our past, and the clunkiness just ruins it.
yeah,
It just destroys any fun that it could have been. Like, sure, the nostalgia bug gets scratched, but their nostalgia itch gets tracked. But
Yeah.
the whole time sitting there going, ugh, I'm not enjoying this.
yeah, and you end with like a slight headache, and you're like, oh, I was squinting at that because it's meant for a 4x3 monitor, and the graphics don't scale, and right. And luckily, I mean, this is one of those mods where like they've done a good job making it so it'll actually will run in 4K and things like that, right? And so it's not near as painful, but you're still not looking at beautiful modern day graphics by any means.
Yeah, I mean it's still equivalent to Half-Life 2,
Yeah.
graphic-wise, but I would say Zen looks a bit better than the rest of the game.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And maybe it's just I mean they did it later, but same engine, so I don't know. It might not actually.
Yeah. I mean, it's based on a 2004 engine, but that said, Half-Life 2 is one of those games that I can go back to, and I just don't feel like it's clunky and that I'm having to squint at it, right? Like,
Yeah, it's modern enough, and that's about the cutoff, I would say,
yeah.
for those kind of nostalgia things.
Which is funny, like, that's a 16-year-old game, right? Like, I can't think of another 16-year-old game where I'm like, oh, yeah, that looks good enough. Like,
Yeah.
but I feel that way about Half-Life 2. It's good enough, which is why it's an excellent, engine for things like this.
Which is really funny that this part was so much different in Black Mesa than...
Oh, that's what I wondered.
This is so much different.
I
Black
wondered
Mesa.
what
Black
this
Mesa is
part
actually
was.
challenging and
Oh, yeah. I got
Exciting.
lost a lot in the Black Mesa one.
yeah, this one's really straightforward.
I mean, I guess I got lost in this one a little bit the first few times I played it, but yeah, once you're familiar with it, it's not a problem. You follow the, stream.
Yeah.
Just don't cross them.
That's right. Never cross the streams.
To look at my notes here.
I also liked, just some of the simple changes, like the when the spitters would spit on you, the gun would get, kind of colored, right? You could see that, and it would wear off over time, but...
Yeah, that was a good touch. Probably using just decals or something on the walls and things. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't
Like
spray
that.
painted yet. I gotta spray paint. There we go.
okay, so some questions.
Uh-huh.
Well, maybe questions or tidbits, or I don't know what to call them. Gordon can climb a ladder crazy fast.
Oh yeah, he can.
Like superhumanly fast. Who is the baby in the photo in Gordon's locker?
I don't know. Yeah, that is interesting.
Does he have a child? Or
he might,
was
because
that him?
I mean,
I think it's just a picture
he's
of himself.
26. Why would you have a baby picture of yourself?
You don't?
At work.
Well, I also looked like E.T. as a baby, so I wouldn't have a picture of myself lest it scare people.
Well, I just wondered, like, if it is his kid, then that's really sad. Like, that makes the story much sadder.
Because he's in stasis?
Yeah, in stasis and, like, never referred to again, or, you know. Because the photo's in there in the original also, isn't it?
You know, I don't know. I never looked to see if there was a baby photo in the locker. Whoa! Did we collide with each other?
Yep.
Oh, dang it.
That,
Thanks for the ladder.
Black Mesa has a serious toxic waste leak problem. It doesn't seem to be, like, part of the cascade. Like, there's just massive areas of, like, toxic waste leaking.
And nobody's worried about it. Like,
Not
there's just,
really.
like, leaking everywhere, and they're just like, yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Well, and apparently, like, I never realized that the power failures started before the resonance cascade, right? But, like, you see the computer explode before the resonance cascade occurs.
Yeah.
And you're like, really? We should keep doing this test even though the computer just exploded? Like, how about no?
Some of us that are into overclocking, that's pretty normal to have a computer explode. That's just another Tuesday at the
And
office.
that's why I'm not into overclocking.
Yeah, no thank you. Okay, when you launch the satellite,
Which I totally didn't even remember.
We're in questionable ethics, guys.
oh nice. Okay, so when you launch the satellite, there's a blast shield on the windows of the control room.
Yep.
But the blast shield opens when you go to launch the rocket. Like, they're closed when you get into the room.
Because you got to be able to see it, man. Like,
Well, I know you want to watch.
so
it as
in
a
this
gamer,
one,
but-
when you launch the satellite, you can barely see it. You have to like keep
Really?
crouching and uncrouching to be able to see through the little slit of a blast shield window. I was kind of disappointed because I was like, "Oh, son, watch!" Oh, wait, we gotta get a picture of this guy. Oh yeah. I was like,
yeah,
"Oh,
this
watch
is-
this! You know,
this
you gotta
is-
see."
This is so different in Black Mesa.
Well, this guy, he's still here and he's in stasis, but yeah, he looks
Right,
very
it's like very.
different.
The
Yeah.
lighting is really really awesome. Oh, when that happens, it doesn't kill him.
Yeah, I thought all
Oh,
the buttons killed the guys in Black Mesa.
yeah, in Black
Black
Mesa,
Mesa,
you're
they
like
do, yeah.
you're doing experiments to kill all of them, and then some of them do kill them in this one, but it doesn't seem like all of them do. It's
That
just
one
like a
just
shortcut. So
released
this
him.
one does. Oh, except for
Oh,
Clipper just
no.
killed me.
Well,
That's
no.
fine. I've got God mode on. I won't die.
My last question is, why does Zen have the same gravity as Earth?
That is a good question, but I didn't think that it did. I thought it was less gravity, because you can
It
like
doesn't feel that way.
you can fall off of the like the
I mean, maybe
waterfall
if-
and you'll
maybe if you fall off the
land
sides and
softer.
stuff.
There you go.
I thought it
Maybe.
did have less. It definitely does in this old game. A lot less in this old
Really?
game. Yeah.
In Black Mesa, it didn't feel like it did when you're just like walking through caves and doing all that kind of stuff.
Interesting. You know, I mean,
If it is
maybe
different,
I'm
it's
remembering
very, very
wrong.
slight.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, Clipper, you got to go clockwise in this. Sorry. No, I played this
Is
recently.
the lobby fight scene?
No, it's not. So the lobby fight scene doesn't. I mean, yes, this is the lobby where the fight scene occurs, but my memory of that was completely tainted by Black Mesa, because the lobby fight scene in this doesn't really happen.
No.
Really?
No, it just has like there are some military guys there, but like we basically killed all of them, and there will be like 2 or 3 more that spawn. I think like it doesn't really happen.
Huh.
Yeah, normally that would kill all the head crabs that you guys already killed.
I do what I want.
Yeah,
We have guns. We don't
I
need
just-
no electricity.
that's right. America.
Yeah.
Our equipment's entirely powered by renewable resources, guns. And in here is also where we're gonna find the eventually we're gonna see that choppy slicey machine, right? Which is just not anywhere near as good in this one, but And again, in my mind, I remembered it being like a surgical operating bot that had gone haywire. And maybe I was smart enough to intuit that that's what it was supposed to be, but it's not clear from looking at it. So look in there, yeah. That's that surgical bot.
Oh,
it's just like two arms that sweep with like ninja stars at the end.
Yeah, why are they so red?
Because they're covered in blood, obviously. High def.
Oh, that is funny.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's as good a compliment as I can pay the devs that I can't keep these two games apart in my mind.
Sure, yeah.
So, bravo to you, devs.
I enjoyed it. I definitely recommend it. I think it has some pacing issues.
Yeah, I could see that.
But not enough to where I hated it or was super annoyed. I think it took me 21 hours to finish the whole thing. So overall, it's not all that long anyway. So any annoyance with a part or anything, it ends pretty quickly. And I
think mine was 14 hours, something like that. So,
wow.
I mean, I kind of tanked through it kind of fast, right? Because, again, when I'm recording, I tend to go quick because, kind of like we're now, right? Because I figure it's just more visually entertaining for people.
Yeah, and I was about 18 on my playthrough.
Okay.
And it was...
what did we miss over here?
And to be fair, I didn't finish Zen all the way. I got to the... What was the guy's name? The ballsack dude?
Gonark.
The Gonark, yeah.
I got to Gonark, trudged through, finished it off. I'm like, that's enough Zen for me.
Well, and unfortunately, Clipper has to be out of town, and then I was sick, and so it was just some bad timing in general, but...
Yeah, so we ran out of time to finish, but,
You were close.
I was close.
And you were playing on
got a good
hard.
taste. Yeah, I was playing on hard. And I got a good taste of it. Anyone who's ever played Half-Life 1, absolutely play Black Mesa. Absolutely. If you've never played Half-Life 1 and you want to experience that story, play Black Mesa.
Yeah.
Like, it literally solves both of those, not solves, but it literally fills both of those niches.
There's very little reason to go back and play this game unless you just really want to see what Zen used to be, basically, right? Like, that's about the only reason I can think of. I might be going backwards here, guys. I think we might want to go the other way.
Well,
Oh, no, we're good. We're good.
This way, so.
Yeah. So this is the lobby, and again, I think like 2 more guys spawn here or something, but
So,
like...
I was waiting for a scene that I remember from Half-Life 1, and maybe I'm crazy, but don't you fight our Gargantuan in a parking garage?
The one that you have to shock?
Yeah, you fight a...
No,
well,
it's a
so
different one.
on a rail, is that what you're thinking of? The one that's...
It was I thought it was before On a Rail.
I suppose it's possible. Did we miss some military men that we haven't killed? Do a quick sweep. You guys, you go that way, I'll go this way. Because I think there's supposed to be like 2 guys that spawn, and if you don't kill them, you can't get
a
out.
parking garage, and there's a Gargantuan in there that we fight. But I could never find him in Black Mesa, and I was like, did I miss him? Did I just run past him?
There was a parking garage part that had some headcrab zombies and like a bouncy floor thing, but there was not a Gargantuan there.
Yeah, I just can't tell my... Oh, wait, we have to bring a scientist here. I'm an idiot. That's why we turn off that whole machine, is to bring a scientist here.
And on Black Mesa, there's a bug where those scientists won't open the door for you, so you sit there and wait, and they never open it. And I had to end up like killing my save and reloading.
Oh, really?
I had to like beg them a few times to come and hit stuff for me. It was weird. Like I had to walk backwards a lot, and I do that in this game a little bit, but like mostly just to make sure that they haven't gotten like scared or something, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, in Black Mesa, it did feel like a lot of them were getting left behind. Okay, Kleiner, you coming?
You seem to be.
Yeah, see, like he already got stuck. I don't know why, but whatever. One's enough.
Is there also like a lot more security guards that followed you in Black Mesa? Seems like I had companions that were helping me fight a lot more often.
I don't think I ever asked a security guard to follow me, but just because I was lazy. Like...
They weren't great, but...
Yeah.
Cynic, hoarder of weapons and ammo, didn't make the security guards fight to the death for his pleasure and amusement.
Early on, I did. Early on, it was like, okay, you kill the zombie, not me. But I think they were a little less stingy with the ammo. I don't know, maybe not. But maybe it's just that I'm a better gamer now, and so I just don't require as much ammo all the time. I'm not spraying and praying. Whereas, yeah, as a kid, I felt like I burned through ammo all the time. Just everything I did took up copious amounts of ammo.
The facility in Black Mesa felt a lot larger, like overall, like the campus.
Oh, yeah.
I would say.
Oh yeah,
It definitely was.
More like open areas and.
see, this feels a lot like hamster tunnels. This version, the original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Black Mesa feels like a big, open, huge, like yeah.
So this is one of the most open areas in the original Half-Life, right here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, here's where you fight the helicopter.
Yeah.
This part
here it is.
entirely different.
Yeah, way different. I didn't realize how different that was.
Because there's like a building over here, a warehouse where you pick the Tau cannon up.
Yeah.
I hit the skybox there with my rocket. Go on, rocket, try.
Why is it not tracking?
The tracking is a little bit wonky, more so than I remember. I mean, it works okay, but yeah, it's not as good as I remembered. Just FYI, I have these grates open if you want to hop in and go, but you can keep fighting if you want to.
Oh, no, thank you. I don't like that fish.
Ow, fish.
Okay.
Fish!
Hey,
The other one.
inside joke. Inside joke. Wait, no? Is it?
No?
Oh, now it closed on me.
You can't keep going through the tunnel?
No. There's just a fan in both of them. It looked like.
There's a fan, but you just keep going
propeller, I
through,
guess.
keep going past the fan. Because I turned the fans off.
I forgot
You
God
forgot
mode.
to. That's fine. I think the map changes up here pretty quick.
Yeah. And we're coming pretty much up on
Yeah.
time here. Is there any other final moments? I think we covered most of my things. Just checking my notes as well.
I mean, there's nothing surprising until you get to Zen, right? Like it's going to be the same old game that you know and love, that you've played, you know, if you're like us, you've played 100 times. But it's totally worth it. And I don't think it needs to be, you know, surprising and new. Not everything needs to be totally different, right? Sometimes it's fun to just, you know, have the tried and true path.
Yeah.
But that also means it's a little bit harder to talk about, you know, what all the pieces are, because it is so much similar that we're all used to.
The only thing I wrote down as well is the physics of trains and moving objects in Black Mesa are broken. Meaning if you're on a train and you jump up, the train goes out from under you versus you're traveling at the rate of the train and just staying on it. I noticed that and I was like, physics.
But that's just that's a Half-Life 2 thing, right? Like that's just the engine is that way.
I would know that if I finished Half-Life 2.
Well, now you have to, now that you've played Black Mesa.
So
right.
yeah, let's talk looking forward. Looking
Oh,
forward
can I
to our
say
next game.
can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
I wish
Just,
you would.
I would love to see the Black Mesa treatment for other things.
I would too, so much.
Like, there's probably a lot of games that would be really amazing if someone went back and did a faithful recreation, but then added a lot of new things. And
So this is where I have to do a couple shout-outs. So first of all, Project Borealis is essentially doing Half-Life 3 for us as a fan project that's based on a new game engine.
Right.
So it's not just based on, you know, Half-Life 2. It's a brand new thing that's going to be awesome. And then another guy, Kryzen X, if you've ever heard of Kryzen X, he remakes Nintendo games. Now, he's going to get shut down. We just know it's going to happen, right? Because it's Nintendo. But he's remade a bunch of these in modern Unity engines, and they just look gorgeous. And you're like, oh, yeah, that needs to happen. And especially for, like, cartoony type games, there's just no reason not to, right? Like, yeah. I can't remember how to open this thing. Sorry, guys. So I don't know how to load the next area.
We'll find out.
That's fine. We're close to the end, so instead I will vote for a weird map while we finish talking. Let's see if I can find it. There we go. So just say yes there, and that'll load. And while we finish up, we can have a visually stimulating weird other place.
Nice. So looking forward to our next game of the month. We really haven't settled on a specific title yet. We're trying to think.
I thought we had.
Oh, had we?
I started playing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've been out of the loop.
I'm pretty sure you know. We're playing Diablo.
Oh, sorry, I'm thinking 2 months ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
you are.
My bad.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out what we want to do for 2 months ahead, but yeah.
2 months ahead.
But yeah, next month we were playing Diablo, which none of us have played, right? None of us have played the original.
No, I
Only-
haven't.
only
Yeah,
Diablo
3
2.
is the only one I've ever played.
Yeah, I've played 2 and 3 quite a bit, but I've never played the original.
So these things you have to break over here.
I think we played this one time at a game night, and it was very confusing.
Yeah, my son and I played this like all day today. I was homesick, he was homesick, and so these you have to hit at the same time, these different keyboards, but
Well, it's very important we do this. Anyway, yeah, we're playing Diablo next month.
which I'm excited about. I mean, now it's maybe the most retro game we've played. Is that accurate? It's from 1996, but it feels older because like
I bet it- yeah,
Half-Life
it
is 1995, but it was also like, or sorry, Half-Life's 1998, but it was like cutting edge technology 1998, right?
Yeah. It's on GOG though. They have, there's a version now that you can get that's, I guess, semi-updated from what it was.
It at least
originally.
has modern resolution support, but it does it with
Does
like
it?
massive screen lines. Because again, so I've played, I think I've played probably an hour so far.
Okay.
Yeah, just to get a slight head start.
I haven't launched it, so.
The downside though is there are no autosaves, so make sure you save, my brethren, because
Oh,
God.
this trained me because I was pushing F6 like every 2 seconds.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I think that about does it, folks.
I
Cool.
think so.
well, as always, go back and watch our other shows if you haven't seen them. We've played a ton of games, we're enjoying them, and we would love for you to play these games with us. So yeah, get Diablo. It's usually pretty cheap on GOG, and play it with us for the month of March.
Great.
And then maybe next month I'll have what game we're playing figured out.
You will know.
And
All right, cheers,
thanks
everyone.
to the guys for being willing to have a weird recording just so that I don't make them sick.
Gladly, not
Yeah,
sick.
seriously.
Thank you. I think it worked out well, so.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Cheers.